Today, my name is Peter Deal. I'm going to discuss the wonderful online formative assessment called Kahoot. It's kind of a game that the kids like to play, and we can make quizzes and do assessments and all kinds of things with it. So what we're going to do is going to Google Kahoot, and we'll notice the one that we want as a teacher is this one that's called Get Kahoot. Okay, the one on top, that's for the student login. So we want our teacher login first. So let's make it awesome. There we go. You can sign up for free. It is absolutely free. I've already got a sign in, so I'm going to go straight to it. And creating a Kahoot, which is really just a quiz, you can go public. You can actually use someone else's. So I'm going to use someone else's. I'm going to go forces, search for, see. And I get all these different Kahoots that are already created by other people. These are on forces, mechanical forces, net forces. Each one you can go ahead and click on them. Shows you how many questions there are. There are 10 questions. Tells you how long they set for each question. Like the first one's only set for 10 seconds, a quick answer, some 20, some 30. It really depends on what they have, what they set up. You can see what the answers are, what they're supposed to be. And they even have a nice little picture for each individual one that they set up. You can include your own pictures, or you can just go ahead and use the default pictures. Now, if I want to use this, I can go ahead and click play and just run it as is. And so if I previewed all the questions and everything looks good, I can play it and it would actually start up with the students. If I say, hey, you know what, I don't want to look up these questions, I want to change it, I can definitely go back to this and I can duplicate it. So I can duplicate it and it'll save under my own Kahoots, and then I can edit it from there. But today I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start creating my own one. So under my Kahoots, you'll notice I have quite a few already set up here. I'm going to create a new one, a brand new Kahoot. And we're going to start with forces. So my next one is forces. Let's see, a quiz. Let's do a quiz. Let's give the quiz name forces. There we go. Now I can go ahead and set up how many questions that I have. Question 1. Define a force. Or, actually that seems a little broad. I'm going to have to do something that's actually, it's all multiple choice, so I want to make it a better question. This is the that pulls, this is the force pulls you down to Earth. I can get my answers down here. I can say gravity. Choose the answer 2. Let's say weights. Answer 3 will be rope. I'm just making things up here. And or if I want to do like if true false, I can just use 2 choices and say true or false if I want to do something that similar. Gravity, weights, rope. Let's come up with a 4th option for something that pulls you downward. We'll say dumbbells. And I obviously have to choose which answer is correct, so I'll pick gravity as the correct one. Right here I've got a 20-second time limit. I can change that to all the way up to 120 seconds of 2 minutes, but typically we like to go with 30 seconds on this one. How many points per question? Yeah, let's put down the points per question. They like to write it down. And it's going to start off as 53. And what happened is they'll give them points when they pick it, but as time goes by, the points will diminish. So we'll see how many points we come up with on this. And then, of course, once I'm done with that, I can add another question, say question 2, and we'll figure out what I want to do for question 2, and I'll say, how do we calculate weight? And what's good about this, I can even put in math equations here. It allows me to do it. X squared, superscript or subscript. I figure out weight. I will say mass times gravity. Make sure I spell that right. Mass times force. gravity, mass times time. Now, of course, we'll correct my correct answer. I also want that to be 30 seconds. And I can keep adding questions, or I can duplicate questions. And when I'm all done, I can hit Save Continue. And there's my Kahoot so far. I got 30 seconds, 4 choices, preview each one. And once I'm actually done, say all this looks good, save and continue. Set the difficulty level. Say if I want it to be public or just private. I can certainly select that. My primary audience would be a school. I do want an English language, any description. I might write a description of what this type of Kahoot is about. Let's say this is about courses in physics. And then I'll hit save and record. I can put an image as the main cover page if I wanted to do that. I can upload it from anywhere, usually choose it from my own files. When I'm all done, I'll click done down here in the bottom right, and I now have it. So I can preview it, edit it more, or even play. Once it's time to get ready to play, what I'll do is, since it'll be in my list of Kahoots, oh, there it is. I can start forces. I'll go ahead and play, and when it comes up, I already know what's going on here. Randomize questions. No, I don't have to randomize everything, but all the different options that come up with it. Play music while waiting. Usually it's while we're waiting for people to log in. And what I can do is I can launch it. Once it does, and it just kind of puts it together. I'll turn my volume down here. So now all the kids, all they have to do is go to kahoot.it. They'll put in this PIN number, and then they'll even create their names. So they usually, I ask them to use their real names, although they can put in just about anything. And you as a teacher have the option to cross out names if you like and say, no, that's not appropriate, find something better. Once they go in, they literally take it. They take the quiz. They just go 30 seconds each. They determine how many people have got the right answer. It gives you the right answer after each one, and also keeps score of everyone throughout the whole game. So what I'm going to do here now is one of the options here. I'm going to kind of go back on this. And actually, I'm going to close that out because that just sets up its own thing. What's really good about Kahoot is that now I have more. There are more things that I can do with this. I can look at all my results. So all the different Kahoots that I've done, one-step equations I had my environmental science and atmosphere, physics intro review. All the different Kahoots I have, I've got the results here. So I can go ahead and I can download the actual results. And it'll give it to me in an Excel file. So I'll pull up my Excel file. It'll have, and I already know that all the names are not going to be real names, so I'm not really worried about this at this moment. Good old Excel. And it's going to pull me a nice file of exactly all the results of how each student did. So if you after your students put in their actual names, it'll keep it up pretty well. And I can expand it. It'll tell me all the different students that were in there, what their names were, what they use as their names, or if they have a special handle, their overall score, how many correct and incorrect answers they have, and I can literally go through and I can see what they selected, all the correct and incorrect answers, all the questions. So I can look at the entire quiz right there. It gives me a total all performance. So the average score, percent correct or incorrect. But best of all, I can see individually where students knew the information and where they didn't. So as I can take a look right here and say on question 1, only 3 students got it right. All the rest did not. So I'd have to look at that question and think, maybe that's something I need to work on with the rest of the class. So it's something we can do for review. And a lot of other ones say, well, only a few people missed it, but a lot of others were correct. So I can now start differentiating and say, well, there's these students that I can work with a little bit more, and others that that don't really need it, so they can continue to move on. So this is it's nice to have an Excel file pop up like this, so I can go ahead and see the results and have a physical copy, and I can save it on my own computer. It's an excellent review material that I like to have. It allows me to go through a lot of the different topics that I've taught in class. It's great for review. It's a great formative assessment. The only problem that I ever have really is the connection, because a lot of the times with the amount of students that I have, it's hard for all of them to stay connected. So if I have 28 students, I might only have 25 that are actually in the program initially, and by the end of the quiz, when it's all said and done, I may only have 15, just because they have trouble connecting and staying connected, and they can't get their answers in. So that's why all those blank responses were there. So there is a downside to it. It usually works better with a smaller class and if you have a very, very good connection. But I do like it for an example that I have, that since we're a bring a device school, they can use their cell phones, their tablets, any device works. It doesn't matter what it is. If you're in a one-to-one school, it's perfect because everybody has their own iPad or laptop already set up. So you're good to go, and you can have the whole class playing together. And they can see the results after each one. So it's kind of neat to see the kids' reactions when they get it right and when they don't. And then in between each one, you've got a lot of time to go ahead and talk about and explain why each answer was correct and why ones weren't correct. So it is also a learning process. So that is Kahoot in a nutshell, and I hope you all decide to use it a lot, because I find it to be an excellent source for formative assessment.